919 Truth Sports. Ride with me.
Hey. How you doing, Mr. Sowell?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. I'm gonna introduce you to my channel real quick. Mr. Chase Sowell started at Colorado, and moved on to my East Carolina Pirates, where he had two very good years. One of the 2 years he led them in receiving yards. He was actually leading them in receiving yards this past year, but he dealt with a couple of injuries and he sat out a game. At the end of the season for that. But I appreciate you playing for my Pirates and being very productive, and you helped them get back to a bowl game. So I appreciate that. If you didn't know, he's on his way to Iowa State, big time school, big time situation for him. So we're gonna walk him through his career, ask him questions starting from high school all the way up to to college, his transfers, and all the way up to where he is now. So is that good with you, Mr. Sowell?
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Let's do
Okay,
it.
first of all, how are you doing, man? Because I know, me and you talked the other day, and you were just moving to Iowa State. So how are you doing with the move?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was smooth. We drove about 9 hours and landed in Missouri. Stayed with my mom's coworkers, her friends, family friends, and then finished out the drive today. So it was smooth. Everything went good, and we're here. So we're excited.
Okay, I'm glad you made it safe. So tell me about the Military Bowl. I know you wasn't able to play in it. East Carolina won 26-21 over NC State. But how did you feel about that game? That's a big rivalry, for us from the state of North Carolina. How did you feel
Yeah.
about that?
Man, I was happy for my boys. That's something that we talked about. Through the off season, summer workouts, fall camp. We always talked about that moment. And in 2022, the Pirates came up short on a game they thought they should have won. So it definitely was a good win for the program, and even better win for the guys that was part of that 2022 team that got their revenge. So I was happy for my guys and happy for Coach Roberts and Coach Harrell and them. And it was a great game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was excited. I was going crazy, so I'm glad.
oh
I'm
yeah,
glad it went down the way that it went down. Okay,
yes
so we're gonna
sir,
start your high school career. I saw that you was a prep star in the state of Texas. Your
yes,
high school is located in Humble, Texas, which is a 6A school. From what I read, that's like the top as far as competition in the state of Texas, correct?
yes sir. So there's actually 5A and 6A. Those are the two main divisions, I guess you could say, that you could play in. And then the way they do it is you'll have a 5A D1 to
Mhm.
where they'll put you in obviously the more competitive schools, and then 5A D2, and then they do the same thing with 6A. So we were actually 6A D1,
Oh,
played North Shore. Um, we would have been in the same bracket as like Duncanville, Lake Travis, Austin Westlake.
wow.
So all the big names you could think of, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Wilson School, Baker Mayfield, like all those guys that played at these big
Wow.
schools, and it gets really competitive out there, and it's a good time. It's a real fun time. So definitely miss it, and definitely miss those Friday night lights for sure.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that. And that leads me to my next question. I was going to ask you, how is it dealing with the type of competition you played against? Because from what I read, it's not your average high school competition. So how
Yeah,
did you all prepare for that type of competition, every Friday night with games being as big as some small colleges? How did you
yeah.
deal with that, man?
So I mean, like you were saying, like small colleges. I mean, that's what it felt like. From the practices to going and watching film to the lives to all that, we basically prepared like a college. Fall camp, we would have fall camp like a college team. We would have
Really?
basically 2 days where we go and practice, and then after we're done practicing, we go in and we do our lifts and go watch our film and stuff. So it's like a college. And, you gotta be in a different mindset and have a different work ethic to make it. And it definitely prepares you for the next level, and definitely prepares you for the next level in life, just in general.
Right.
Like as a man, I learned a lot. My freshman year of football, I actually wanted to quit.
Really?
So my first love, I played baseball since I was the age of 4. My dad played at the University of Florida.
Wow.
And I always thought I was going to be a major league baseball player. So that was the goal. That was the dream. And my freshman year, I think like 5'6", 125, something like. I was tiny. I was super tiny, and
Right.
I told my dad that I didn't think I was going to be able to take it very far and play,
Right.
just because of how small I was and how big everybody was. Coming from Texas, you see these big guys on
Right.
varsity, other schools. So I thought it was going to be a smart decision for me to just go play baseball. That's what I was good at. And he just told me, just play, just go and have fun. Like don't try to go out there and have these big accomplishments. Just go out there, have fun, and then you'll let the accomplishments take care of themselves.
Right.
Um, and that's what I did. My freshman year, I played both sides, receiver and DB.
Oh, you
So
did? You play both sides of
yeah,
the ball?
so I played both sides of the ball my freshman year,
Okay.
um, and that was a fun time. I had like 6 or 7 interceptions my freshman year,
Wow.
so I fell in love with it. And my sophomore year, actually, my one of my coaches came up to me and he told me that he wanted me to go to the offensive side of the ball. Originally, I thought I wanted to be a defensive back, because I
Okay.
was still kind of growing, didn't think I was big enough to play that outside receiver role.
Right.
And yeah, so I just took it in. I started playing receiver. Um, Played junior varsity for my sophomore year. That was a fun time. And then by the time I got to my junior year, I grew, developed, and then
Right.
my senior year it just all took off from there. So yeah, it's been definitely a journey, and definitely have a story behind it. So
Wow, that's what I'm glad you're here. So, starting out as or being a DB, did that help you as a wide receiver? Because if you're that good as a DB on the level you playing on in high school, I mean, that had to make that transition a whole lot easier when you went to the other side of the ball. Tell me about that.
yeah, so actually playing DB, like you were saying, it did help because I could notice a lot of different coverages. I mean, obviously it wasn't as advanced as I am now.
Right.
But I knew like the basic cover twos, press bail,
Okay.
all those
Okay.
type of things. So I just knew the general coverages that I would see, and I think being a baseball player is what helped me the most at receiver. Um, just really, really like tracking the ball. In baseball, you have to be really detailed and everything. It's a real fundamental game.
Right.
So that was the main thing that I focused on first. How we frame the ball, how we tuck the ball, how we run the ball, all those things that you have to really pay attention to, and I took those into account. And then another thing that baseball helped me with was failure.
Mm,
Baseball is I mean, it's a sport of failure. You could be a Hall of Famer if you get one hit out of three at bats, and
right.
that's the best of the best. So it helped me deal with failure, helped me deal with like rejection, a lot of those things, and it helped me obviously in my college career now to where I am. So I mean, all those things just work together, and I can't be more grateful or more blessed to be here. So
Yeah, you're a very humble guy. I can definitely say that about you from behind the scenes. But you obviously played well enough to get a lot of attention coming out of high school. And I did my research and I saw that you were offered by Colorado, the University of Texas at San Antonio, Sam Houston
mhm.
State, Northern Iowa, and Incarnate Word.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that process and tell me about how you came to choose Colorado out of those schools.
Man, I mean, so to begin, um, I didn't think I would have any type of offers, to be honest. I,
Really?
I went to no, I went to literally, if you look, I have no record of going to any camps, never played for any 7-on-7 team besides my high school. Um, and I didn't think that I would get any offers because I didn't have the exposure that these other guys were having.
Right.
So I just, like any other kid, you just tell them play, and then somebody will find you. And I was just playing. Had a breakout game, one of my first games. Had a lot of hype and stuff. It happens. UTSA had offered me, and Northern Iowa had offered me. And
Okay.
when those two schools offered me that right there was enough for me because I had opportunity, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted the opportunity to show what I could do, and
Right.
opportunity to display what I could do. So I was very blessed for that.
Right.
And then actually UIW offered, and then I think Northern Iowa had already offered. So yeah, UIW came in later on. You know, I was into him, but I was kind of waiting, trying to see if I could get anything else, just to weigh my options.
Right.
And actually, my last game of my high school career, I was playing. We were playing against North Shore, the round four of playoffs, and Colorado had called my dad at halftime,
At
and I had no
halftime.
idea. Yeah, at halftime.
Okay.
I was having a good game, you know, early in the game. I guess I think Coach Carl Durrell, he was the head coach there still. He had said that he just wanted to see a little bit more from me, and I guess that half had been all he wanted to see. And so when I made those plays or whatever, he called my dad at halftime and told him that I had an offer. And, you
Wow.
know, your senior year, your last game you lose, you come out the locker room, it's
Right.
very sad,
Right.
very upsetting. But I mean, I was happy with me and our guys of how we played throughout the season.
Right.
We had we had a lot of key injuries that hurt us, obviously. And when my dad told me that, I mean, it changed my whole mood. You know, it
Right.
changed
Right.
my whole entire mood because I was like Colorado, like I would have never thought they would have ever, you know, even found me because what I'm a Houston kid all the way down south,
Right.
Midwest. You know, I've never heard anything about Colorado, and
Right.
man, when I tell you, I went out there and took that visit, and I just was amazed. I was amazed, you know, with the people, the town,
Right.
the scenery, all that. So it just blew my mind, and I just had to commit, and I think the people is what made the difference for me. You know,
Okay.
being with Carl Durrell and Reggie Moore at the time, he was the receivers coach that was recruiting me. He actually didn't get the chance to coach me. We're still
Right.
good friends and stuff, but they had let him go. But they were just great people, and I mean, I wanted somebody that was truly invested in me and who was truly gonna take care of me, and no matter what, you know, have my back and have my side. So I just immediately was like, yeah, this is the place I want to go. Signed the letter of intent, literally I think uh,
Wow.
the day it closed. I think, yeah. So the day it closed, I woke up early morning. I think at like 6:45 in the morning. It was like a weekend or something.
Right.
We were on break, and I just came downstairs, and I was so excited to sign
Right.
and made it official. So that's kind of how I ended up there. Um, and yeah, it's about what happened.
That's a testament from what you're saying to kids. To I always tell kids, keep playing. Don't worry about the numbers. Just get lost in the game, and it'll
Yeah,
take care of itself. And it sounds like you got lost in the game. It sounds like your dad gave you great advice. Just play and get lost in the game and see what happens at the end. And look
yeah,
at you. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations to you on that. That's a great story.
yeah.
Now, before we leave your high school career, you said something before I got to it. I got my notes here. I was going to say, I saw that you was a baseball player, and you
Hmm.
wasn't just a baseball player. You had a national ranking overall of 500 national ranking, and as an outfielder, you was 109 as an outfielder. In the state of Texas, you was ranked 57 overall and number 12 as an outfielder. And then I saw that you played multiple positions. You was an outfielder, you was a third baseman, you was a catcher, and you was a middle infielder.
Hmm.
That's very versatile. I mean, you have to tell you gotta break that down as far as you sound like a natural athlete. So you had all these positions that you were good at as far as a baseball player. Then you good on both sides of the ball as a football player. Explain that baseball side. How did you become so good at baseball? Was it a natural talent from your father, or is this something you worked on as well?
I mean, I guess you could say both, kind of both. I was kind of just naturally gifted. with the God, gifted abilities that I have. And then it was just really just a testament to my dad, just the way he instilled that work ethic in us. When I was younger, I would literally wait until, because my dad, he's a pro baseball consultant. So
Okay.
he gives lessons. He talks to major league guys. He talks to major league coaches. All those different things. And I would literally just wait until his last lesson and just wait for my turn. I would just wait
Right.
every day, wait for
Right.
my turn to hit. And I mean, just the work. It was just really the work. I fell in love with the process. I just enjoy going in the cages and hitting my dad every day.
Right. Right.
That was my time with him, and I never took that for granted, and I still don't, because when it's funny because I actually, when I just went back to Houston, I went back in his cages, and there was a few guys that when I hit in there, they were giving lessons. They were actually giving the lessons, and
Right.
it was just a funny like circle of life. Like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, it's crazy to see how far all of us have came. There's a guy named Trey Richardson. He plays for the St. Louis Cardinals now.
Okay.
Uh, and then my dad, this dude named Mike Jackson. He played 18 years in the major leagues. He was a pitcher.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I just fell in love with the process. So growing up, I never played with the best teams. I never played with the best coaches. My dad always just had his own team, and my dad always just had his own people. And that's kind of how he raised me. You have your people and you have your system, and that's who you stick with. And from a young age, we were getting like killed like 20, maybe like 23-1. We would lose games like 23-1, 22 to
Right.
4. Like, it was bad, man. It was
Yeah.
bad, man. As a kid, you don't understand like anything but win or lose. You don't
Right.
understand the lessons. So it definitely was frustrating to me. But he just told me like, you don't need to worry about, like, just give your best, and you'll see the results. Kind of like I was saying with the football thing. And I just kept putting in that work every day. By the time I got to, I think it was ninth grade, my freshman year of high school, I was going to showcases, doing the events. And I actually, like, when I first did the showcases, I ran like a 7.7 or 7.8, like something very, very slow.
Right.
Like I said, I was still small, 5'6", like 126, and I just didn't have what it took, to be at that next level yet. And some of
Right.
these guys are already hitting their peaks, with their growing, and what their abilities were. They could hit the ball this far, they could throw the ball this fast. And I mean, I was just the average freshman kid, throwing
Right.
80 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour, whatever it was. And like every time I went, my dad would just tell me, beat your numbers from last time. That's all.
Right.
That was my goal, and that's been my, like, beat my number from last time. Beat my number from last time. And when I kept just beating that, by the time I looked up, I had got invited to the national showcase.
Wow.
I had went to a top prospect camp, actually at Texas A&M. Had like three or four hits there. Was like one of the top. I think I was the number one dual sport athlete there or something.
Wow.
And yeah, just from there, I just did what my dad was saying, like, beat your number. Like, you didn't get this amount of hits this time. Like, all right, go for 2 hits, go for 1 hit. Like,
Right.
every time I was just trying to beat myself and beat myself. And it was never a competition to go against the person that was next to me. It's always a competition with myself. And I
Wow.
think that's what got me as far as I am now. And I think that's why I've been as successful as I am now, because I've never looked at the person next to me and how successful they are, or
Right.
how successful the people coming in are, or any of that. So yeah, it's just really a testament to my dad, and a testament to the way I was raised, for real, to be honest. So
I love to hear that. I love the way that you keep talking about your dad. And it's almost like the game of golf. They say with golf, you don't look at everybody else's numbers. It's between you and the course. You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
playing the course. That's what you're going up against. So before we move out of that,
Yeah.
now out of all of those positions, what was your favorite position as a baseball player? Because you have a couple that you played and you were very good at. So what was your favorite position as a baseball player?
I would say, I guess like growing up, I just wanted to be like when I was younger, I wanted to be in a position that I felt like was gonna get the ball the most. Obviously,
Okay.
like I love playing catcher when I was younger because the
Yep.
catcher touches the ball just about every play.
Yep.
Um, I could throw guys out at second, like those type of things. I was very athletic behind the plate. I could make a lot of plays and do a lot of things. But
Right.
then, like as I got older, you have those people that do those things, and I think my favorite position was outfield for me, and it kind of
Okay.
it kind of
Okay.
relates back to the receiver. Being a receiver, you have to track the
Right.
ball. Um, the way I could, turn, do a speed turn, do all these different things, it was fun for me. Like
Right.
making the diving plays, running, catching a gap ball, showing off your speed. Like I always thought that outfield position was just something unique. Like you see the Ken Griffey's, you see the Willie Mays, you see all these different players, and you want to be like them.
Right.
So I mean, those are guys that like even though I didn't watch them growing up, I
Right.
always like knew they were legends at that position and knew they were like the best of the best. So watching them, it just made me want to go and be like that. And my dad played outfield. My dad played center field. So
Okay.
he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot in the outfield for sure.
Okay, and I love you with you being a young guy, giving homage to these older guys who paved the way.
Yes,
I respect
definitely,
that. So for you to know that says a lot about you and your dad, man.
definitely.
Um, so congratulations to your high school career. We talked about that. Now we're going to college.
Michigan State. It's been Hunt 919, Truth Sports. Ride with me.